Hey, how's it guys? Welcome to another episode of Big John's Hawaiian Adventures. And today we're going to be exploring North Shore of Oahu, Hawaii. And I'm going to show you guys 3 locations here in North Shore. First location is going to be Haleiwa Town, which is the historical town of North Shore. Then we're going to be checking out Laniakea Beach, aka Turtle Beach, where the green sea turtles come right up the shore. And for our final third location, we're going to be checking out Waimea Bay, where they have the famous Eddie Aikau competition in the wintertime when we get those gigantic winter swells. So come with me on another episode of Big John's Hawaiian Adventures. Let's go. All right, so I'm on Rainbow Bridge right now, which is one of the oldest bridges on this island, built in 1921. Still standing, guys. And this is where a lot of the local kids like to jump off from, right off this bridge into the water. Check it out. Right behind me, you got Haleiwa Marina, which is usually where, if you book any shark cage diving tours, where they take off from. So if you go way out in the open, you do get some big old sharks. Alright guys, so just behind me you have Matsumoto Shave Ice, which is probably the most famous shave ice place in all of Hawaii. It is just at the entrance of Haleiwa Town. As soon as you enter Haleiwa Town, you'll see it on the right hand side. And you know, the funny thing about Matsumoto's is it's actually a grocery store, but over the years it became famous for its shave ice. Hey, how's it going? I got the Rainbow Shave Ice.
The small one.
Small one, yep.
Total today is going to be $3.66.
Rainbow? Appreciate it. So So I got the Rainbow Shave Ice, which is pineapple, lemon, and strawberry. So, bit of everything. Oh, delicious. Alright, so once you pass Matsumoto Shave Ice, a little bit further down the road here in Haleiwa Town, you have Kua'aina Burger just behind me here, which I personally think is the best burger place on the island. I mean, their burgers are really good. And you know, what's so special about these burgers is they use Big Island beef patties in their burgers. So Big Island beef is pretty famous here. It's grass-fed beef, so it's very flavorful. And they say that the cows on the Big Island, they're very happy, and they say happy cows taste better. So I don't know, but that's what they say. So that might be the reason why. But yeah, once again, they serve Big Island beef patties in their burgers, so very tasty. And you know, a lot of people think that the largest cattle ranch in the United States is in Texas, but in actuality, it's on the Big Island. It's called Parker's Ranch, and it's over 130,000 acres. So the word hale means house in Hawaiian, and iwa is the Hawaiian name for the frigate bird. I hope I'm saying that right, which mainly lives in this part of the island. So there's a strict building code here in this town where all the buildings need to look a certain way. They need to have that old rustic country town feel, kind of like this McDonald's just behind me. All right, Ohana, so just behind me you have Laniakea Beach, aka Turtle Beach, because once again this is where the green sea turtles come up to shore. And there's actually a few reasons to why I come up here. One, you got these hardened lava formations on this beach, and there's a lot of moss and algae that grows on top of these formations, and that's what they feed on. They also come here to rest, and oftentimes there are volunteers on this beach looking out for the safety of these turtles. Now, it was actually one of the volunteers that told me this in the past, and he said that the turtles have over the years have actually figured out that there are volunteers on this beach, and these volunteers look out for their safety, so they know that they're going to be okay, that nobody's going to mess with them when they get on this beach. And that's one of the reasons why they come here. That's what he told me. So I'm not sure if that's the truth, but that's what he said. So if that's the case, that's, you know, pretty incredible. Just goes to show you how smart these animals are. And you know, these green sea turtles, they can live well above 100 years old. So long after we're dead and gone, they'll still be in these waters. Now, I've also been told that the way you can tell which one is male and which one is female is the males, they have a lot longer tails than the females do. But for the first 30 years of their life, their gender is a mystery because the tail hasn't grown long enough. So for the first 30 years, they don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I'm sure they do. I'm sure they know. We don't know. But anyways, if you don't see the turtles come up on the beach here, just keep your eye on the surface of the water, because they do come up to the surface every now and then as they munch off these rocks. So just keep an eye out for that. And if you do see them on the beach, make sure you don't go anywhere near them. Keep in mind that in Hawaii, these are fairly protected species, and oftentimes these volunteers, you know, if they see you touching those turtles, they'll report you. So if you get caught, you can get a very hefty fine. I think something around $1,000, if not more. So make sure you keep away from them. Make sure you don't touch them. You're supposed to keep 10 feet away from them at all times. And you know, that's because they come here to rest. And if you start to get too close, then they feel uncomfortable, and then you end up chasing them back into the water. So for this reason, we have to keep our distance. And you know, you're allowed to take pictures, but just don't take pictures using flash, because flash can be very harmful for their eyes. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully when you come over here, you can see these green sea turtles. So guys, I'm with Don right now, and he's one of the volunteers here looking out for the safety of these turtles. So Don, what would you say about the visitors who come to this beach to see these turtles?
Well, number one, they are an endangered species, so you cannot touch them, you cannot bother them, you cannot keep them from doing what they're doing. The Endangered Species Act is very simple. You need to leave them in their natural environment. And that's the major message that I want to deliver.
So you heard him, guys. Observe these turtles, but observe them from a distance. Let them be, let them have their peace. And thank you so much, Don. Mahalo for that.
You're welcome.
All right. All right, so just behind me, we got our final location for today's video, Waimea Bay, which is famous for the Eddie Aikau competition. So I don't know if you guys ever heard about Eddie Aikau, but he was a famous local legendary surfer right here from North Shore. He's one of the most renowned Hawaiian surfers to date. And he was also one of the lifeguards here at Waimea Bay. Now, what made Eddie so famous was that he would only surf these these monstrous, ferocious waves. Everybody else would be too scared to. You know, if you guys ever come over here, oftentimes you're gonna see banners, slogans on surf shops saying Eddie would go. Well, that's created in honor of Eddie Aikau, because only Eddie was brave enough to take on these massive waves. So whenever they have these record-breaking waves here at Waimea Bay, they have this surfing competition in the honor of Eddie Aikau. But keep in mind, they don't do it every year. They only do it when they have these record-breaking waves. So the last competition they held, the record-breaking wave reached to a height of 40 feet. 40 feet, guys. Now, the minimum requirement for that competition to happen is 30 feet. That is the minimum requirement. And you know, once the waves get that big, they can't surf on their own. So they use a method called tow surfing, where they hitch a ride behind a jet ski. Just as that wave is starting to break off, they'll let go to jet ski and cruise down on those waves. Highly dangerous. And you know, last December they actually had a record number of women surfers who signed up for the competition, but unfortunately they couldn't do it because of COVID. And you know, the waves did get above 30 feet last December, so they could have done it if it wasn't for COVID. So that's a shame. But hopefully this year we'll see if the waves do get above 30 feet. So that's usually done at the end of December. That's when the waves kind of reach their peak. During the last 2 weeks of December, that's usually when they have these surfing competitions. And that's because in the wintertime, you have these ferocious storms off the coast of Alaska, and that's what generates the big waves over here. So in the summertime, those storms dissipate, and the water here in North Shore becomes very flat, very calm. Kind of like you see right now, because we're not technically in our winter months yet. So we still got some time to go. I think November it's going to start picking up a little bit, and then, you know, towards the end of December is when it gets really big, these waves. Now, Eddie Aikau, besides being a professional surfer, he was also part of the Ancient Hawaiian Voyage Society, and this was a group of young Hawaiians who got together and built this double-hull canoe called the Hokulea, and they set out on a journey around the world by only following the stars, no other means of navigation. And you know, the Hokulea, the Ancient Hawaiian Voyage Society, still exists to this day. In fact, they actually go on a trip around the world every year. It takes about a year to complete their journey. Once they complete their journey, they come back, they replace their crew, they get a whole new crew of young Hawaiians, and they set out on their journey all over again. You know, before this existed, a lot of these scientists were contradicting the fact that the ancient Hawaiians found they're over here by only following the stars. So you know, these young Hawaiians, they got together, they built this double-hull canoe, and they set out on that journey around the world by following the stars, just so they can prove to these scientists that their ancestors did travel in this way. So quite remarkable. But unfortunately, in the journey that Eddie Aikau was on, in the beginning of that journey, about roughly 5 miles off the coast of Maui, Hokulea hit a rock and began to sink. So Eddie Aikau jumped on a surfboard and started paddling out to Maui to go get help, and that was the last time he was ever seen. So, you know, unfortunately, he died, you know, at a young age. But he, like I said, he's much revered, much honored to this day. And every time they have these record-breaking waves at Waimea Bay, they have that surfing competition in the honor of him. Once again, that's usually done during the last 2 weeks of December. That's when the waves hit their peak. Now, if you look right behind me, that hardened lava formation right there, a lot of the kids, they like to climb on top of that and jump off into the water. That's a very popular spot for cliff jumping, probably the most popular spot for cliff jumping on this island. But that's only available when the water is calm. You see, in the wintertime, when you get those big waves, when the water gets really rough, it becomes too dangerous. So the lifeguards won't allow you to do that when the water is rough. So you have to come here in the summertime. You have to come here when the water is calm if you want to jump off that cliff. I made it to the top, guys. I'm at the top of the famous cliff jumping place at Waimea Bay, and I'm about to go for it. So wish me luck. I normally don't do this, but I'm doing it for you guys so you can get the first-hand experience. So here we go. Well, there you have it, guys. Another episode of Big John's Wine Adventures. So mahalo nui loa for tuning in, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, some of the highlights here in North Shore, and I hope to see you guys again for the next episode. So stay tuned for more content about Oahu, about Hawaii, and once again, mahalo nui loa. See you next time. Aloha.